Hello and welcome to probably the last video of 2023. It has been a year, and while I'm not usually one to do like New Year's resolutions or to reflect back on a year, like that's just not really what I usually do, this year feels like one where I should. Largely because of the 10 years I've been on YouTube, I feel like this year has been the year I've been the most consistent. So it's content. So here we are. I just kind of want to walk sort of month by month what has happened this year, because it's been a lot, and if nothing else I feel like this is a good reflection for me because this year has been a lot. Starting back in January, this really needs a preface of I graduated with my first master's degree in the spring technically of 2022, and I started taking classes at the Harvard Extension School that summer. I've made a video on this before, but the Harvard Extension School is more or less an earn your way in system, so you have to take so many classes and get certain grades, and then you will formally apply, and then they make the decision if you're officially a degree candidate or not. So December is when I formally put in my application, and January is when that decision came back, and I was officially accepted as a degree candidate for the Harvard Extension School. And honestly, they're kind of drama queens about it. Like when you get an acceptance, it does not come to your email. There's no like congratulations email. You just get an email saying a decision has been made, and it takes you to the same link that you went to submit your application. And then there's like a decision enclosed button that you have to click once you get to that site. And then it loads for like 5 minutes before you actually get to the letter that tells you what the decision is, and you have to read through the letter to understand what the decision is. Very dramatic. January was a very busy month for me. I was working full-time as the marketing coordinator at Iowa Wesleyan University, and I was also teaching a class there. I was teaching Comp 2. It had been, I think, my 5th semester teaching it. And then I was also taking 2 classes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 8 credit hours. I was taking a young adult and middle grade writing course, which was super fun and like what I have longed for my entire academic career. And then also a photography course, which I will say, if you have self-taught yourself in any hobby, I highly recommend taking a course in that hobby just to orient yourself a little bit more strategically. There are a lot of things that I had taught myself that I found that I was doing right, and a lot of things I had taught myself that I found there were easier ways to do those things. But I was very busy. Combined with, I've had some long ongoing health complications that I'm just sort of living with. But January, I went to the doctor. I was getting a surgery done, and through that sort of prep process for that surgery, I was formally diagnosed with PCOS, which explains a lot of the issues that I've had through most of my post-puberty life. I'm not gonna get too in-depth about it here, but if you would like me to talk about it in a future video, let me know. But I ended up having surgery like the day after my birthday, so that was fun. This year I really wanted to put more energy into making videos. Video making has been something I've been interested in for a long time, like even before YouTube was really a thing in my life. YouTube was just sort of the avenue through which I was able to share the videos that I was making. And I think through all of the things that I was doing, I lost sight of the video making, and this was the year that I really wanted to get back into making videos. So February came around and I caught wind of some of the things that were happening with the Roald Dahl estate, and I ended up making a video on that, which is here on the channel. But in addition to making videos for myself, I was also getting really into making videos at work. I had all kinds of plans. I was working just on trying to make as many video things happen because video is really where things are at, and it's really what I was interested in doing at the time. And everything was sort of working out because there were a lot of changes happening within the humanities division at work. So working with them, I had a student intern at the time who was also kind of working that project. We were doing other campaigns that involved a lot of video. I was trying to be very video first at that point. Also, February was really an exciting month at work because I was also working on the proposal for a class that I would have taught in the fall. It would have been the first class that I like designed by myself. Honestly, the first class that I really had any major involvement in designing, and I was really excited for it. And like I was already sort of pre-approved for this class. I just had to do the formal proposal of it in February. And through most of March, it was really more of that same thing. I was very invested in work, and I was very busy between work and teaching and being a student. At some point in March was spring break, and a few days before spring break, I got an email from one of the people in the online division at Iowa Wesleyan being like, hey, we have a lot of students in this creative writing class, and our teacher just disappeared. Would you mind teaching it? And it being a creative writing class, I couldn't say no. I was super busy and I really should have said no, but I couldn't say no. So I took that on right after spring break. But March also turned into a very tough time. We had an announcement that the school was closing, and that was it was a whole thing, and the closure announcement definitely put a shadow over the rest of the semester, which made being as busy as I was sort of tough. Because on the one hand, I was so busy that I wasn't really in a place where I could emote. Like, I was so focused on everything that I didn't have time to be sad about it. But it was also really extra stressful because knowing that, like, everything that we had been working on no longer has a purpose, and so trying to find what can be done over the next couple of months while we are still open, and especially being in the classroom and being with the students, as much as I love that I was able to be there for all of my students, it was real tough. And so sort of living in this shadow of doubt and fear and not knowing what the future holds for all of the students, not knowing what the future holds for all of my peers and my coworkers, and also, like, for me personally, this was a really hard blow for me because I had been trying to get employed at Iowa Wesleyan since I graduated with my bachelor's back in 2018. I ended up finding sort of a backdoor in by becoming a grad assistant in 2020 and then picking up full-time when the marketing director left. So to have spent so long like trying to get a job there, finally getting a job there, finally coming into myself there, and then it just sort of, well, it's gone. It's leaving. The main like new development that happened in April was more personally, I went to my first musical, which feels like such a weird thing to happen in this moment, but I had bought the tickets literally a week before the school closure announcement happened. So Eli and I went down to St. Louis and watched Wicked, the musical, in the Fabulous Fox Theater, which was my first time going there, and it was cool. And it was a nice little short reprieve from everything that was happening. I started using a lot of PTO, and I had a lot of time off just because it was very much use it or lose it at that point, and I had saved up a lot of PTO for the summer because I fully intended on taking a few weeks off during the summer when nothing was happening, because nothing ever happens on a university campus in the summer. So graduation was definitely a surreal experience. It was a very bittersweet one because like it's a celebration because all of these people are graduating and they're ready to like go into the world or go into grad school or whatever it is that they're doing. Eli graduated, which is sort of a relief that he was able to, graduate there rather than having to go out to another school because there really wasn't anywhere close by and he wasn't like living on campus or anything. And the fact that he was a GA meant that his tuition was free, and anywhere else he probably wouldn't have gotten that experience. So it's nice that he was able to graduate before all was said and done. But the rest of May was definitely like a strange, fragile time. Nobody really knew what to do. There were a lot of like closing out of things, and being in the marketing office, there wasn't really much to do. We tried to help out other departments, but there was also stuff that we didn't know what to do. And there were a lot of people that were, again, taking time off because PTO was use it or lose it at this point. So a lot of offices were empty, if not completely closed. It was a time. And I ended up making a video, I believe, on May 31st in my car after leaving. There are still parts of my brain that I don't think have fully clicked in that Iowa Wesleyan University doesn't exist anymore and that I don't work there anymore, because I still get like some ideas of things that I want to do and things that I want to make and all of that, like the same thinking that I had when I worked there, that I can't do any of that because that's not a place anymore. At the same time, it kind of feels like it happened like 10 years ago because these last 6 months since May 31st have been long. So June was a very scary time because I was unemployed completely. I was working at my parents' shop. It was a 1 day a week thing though. I was able to get some money out of it, and then I was also drawing on unemployment. So it's not like I was making $0 every week and just sort of struggling through. I had money. And this was when I decided I'm gonna put a lot of focus into YouTube and hobbies. Still have a lot of unfinished projects. I finished several of them. I've gotten to several of the projects that had been just sort of piling up on my list over the past several years while I've been working and going to school and all of the things. I decided I wanted to try to do weekly videos just to give myself a regular deadline, because if I do anything obscure like every other week or once a month, I will start to lose track of when things are. Whereas if I do something every single week, I have just a weekly deadline that I hit all of the time. I'm not always good at hitting that deadline considering it is the day that this video is going up and I'm recording it now. It's fine, but I do think over the past 6 months while I've been doing this, it's definitely helped just to keep some structure in my life. And it's also kept me active and like doing stuff because I need to constantly be doing things to put out there into the world. But June was definitely a rough month. So jump into July. I had already decided I was gonna do 2 classes over the summer well before the closure announcement happened, and I stuck with that plan. I ended up taking a video production class, which was super useful for me, again, just as having been entirely self-taught at making videos. Do I use all of the tools and ideas that I learned in that video class while making YouTube videos? Absolutely not. I am lazy and a creature of habit. But when I want higher quality productions, I know how to do it now. I posted a couple of the projects that I did in that class, like the game and Life in Color. And I am honestly super impressed with myself for the projects that I did in that class because it was literally a 7-week term. So not a lot of time, and it's an online class, so it's not like I was able to pair up with any of my classmates. It was just me running everything. The other class that I took was Flash Fiction, which I've shared some of those pieces on this channel. July, I think, is also when I dove a little bit deeper into a lot of hobbies and a lot of the things that I had been doing before or had started to get into while I was busy that just sort of dropped off. So I started painting. I also got a 3D printer and started doing some 3D printing. Eli has been way bigger into it than me. It was sort of kind of a gift halfway to him because he's been getting really into miniatures and 40K, and those are expensive. So to be able to 3D print those ourselves is so much cheaper. Now, some of you know I had a 14-year-old poodle named Teddy, and he passed away in November of 2022, which was kind of completely devastating to me just because he had been my dog for 14 years. I literally saw his birth. I had left for work that morning, didn't think anything of it. Like, he always slept right beside me and he was blind, and so usually in the mornings I would just sort of get up and leave and just sort of let him sleep. And so that's why I had done that morning. I just gotten up and left and just let him sleep, and he was not awake when I came home. And so that definitely sort of left a hole in my heart when he passed. And Kirby definitely helped that a lot, just sort of having another dog around. But I missed having a little dog, and so I had a friend on Facebook who was just getting rid of one of their dogs. They just had personal reasons for no longer having space for this dog in their life, and I am like, I will happily accept a free dog. So you've seen this guy in a few videos before, but this is your formal introduction. This is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. He is a mixture of a Shih Tzu and a Poodle, and he is adorable, and he is like the most quiet and well-behaved puppy I have ever seen in my life, and he is wonderful. Can I get a high five? Yeah. Okay, so we are now into August. So originally in June, I was supposed to go to a pulmonary specialist to talk about my asthma. It has been an issue that I've had for several years, and it has gotten just progressively worse as I've gotten older. It started out primarily as seasonal allergies, where it was really mostly a couple weeks in the fall where I would just have a really bad flare-up, and then the rest of the year I was fine. And then it turned into from just being fall to being fall and spring, and then it became spring, summer, and fall, and then these past couple of years it has just sort of been year-round where I will just get really bad flare-ups and no trigger that I can find. I don't know what was causing it, and so I talked to my doctor and I'm like, there are times where I can go like multiple months without having to use an inhaler, and then other times where I'm having to use a rescue inhaler 5 or 6 times a day, which on any insurance plan that I've been on, inhalers are not cheap. So originally in June, I was supposed to go to a pulmonary specialist. That ended up getting pushed back to August because loss of job caused a lot of issues with figuring out my insurance situation. So August came around, I go to this pulmonary specialist and they put me on a steroid inhaler, which I don't love the idea of steroid inhalers, but it has helped me out so much. I still don't know really what was causing the issue. I know that I had a lot of inflammation in my breathing apparatus that was causing, these really bad flare-ups, but I don't know what was actually causing the irritation. But the steroids have helped, and I've only had to use my rescue inhaler like 2 or 3 times since August, so that's been nice. And the steroid inhaler is like maybe $10 a month instead of the $80 that my rescue inhaler is, so that's also nice. August is also when I started learning how to crochet. I made that video about learning crochet, and I also read a little bit during that time while I had time to read for myself. And then classes started up, and let me tell you, if you are in grad school and you can avoid being full-time, I recommend avoiding it. I took 16 credit hours over this last semester, and at first I thought, this will be fine. So I was very busy in undergrad, and I thought, I did this in undergrad. I'm not working right now, so this should be a piece of cake. And it was a piece of brick. I just bit into this thinking it was cake, and it was a brick, and all of my teeth fell out. I have basically 4 different types of writing that I'm doing over this 16-week period. My brain was very confused through most of it. In September, I went to my first ever author meet and greet. Now, I've met people who've written books before. I've been taught by people who've written books. That's not a new thing. But Chuck Palahniuk recently released a new book, and I got to go meet him at one of his stops on his tour. I found that he is a quiet person, especially if you do not engage with him first, which I am a socially awkward individual, so I was sort of standing there quietly while he was also standing there quietly. But it was exciting. Definitely awkward, just sort of standing there watching him do this thing and not being able to do anything in response, because I am a socially awkward individual. But then we got a photo together, and he molested a kangaroo, and it was a good time. September is also when I received another medical diagnosis, which also did a lot to explain myself to me in a lot of ways, and that was being diagnosed with ADHD. I was sort of expecting this diagnosis, that's part of why I was talking to my doctor, I think there's something off up here, and she gave me a screener, and it came back real high in a lot of areas that would indicate that yes, it is ADHD. And it is something that I think I want to talk about more in a future video. This is not the time or place, because there's a lot more depth I want to get into in this subject. I think more and more we're realizing that ADHD presents itself in women differently from men because of societal standards. The way that our culture and society is shapes the way that mental illness presents itself. Again, it's a video that I would like to make separate from this one. We're gonna move on. October. This was my second musical. Originally, this was going to be my first musical, but then I was really excited back in March when Wicked showed up. So my second musical was Beetlejuice, which I told you about that I went to go see it, and it was really fun and exciting. I'd watched clips of the live performance before, so I knew that this was going to be a fun show. October was also when I found out that I made it into the second round of the NYC Midnight 500-word Flash Fiction Challenge, which was exciting. I had NYC Midnight writing contests on my radar for the past several years, but I always sort of put it off because one, it costs money, and two, I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to have time to do it. I figured if I don't have time while I am unemployed, I'm never going to have time, even though I was also, doing full-time schoolwork. So I did it and I got into the second round. I unfortunately lost in the second round. I was an honorable mention at least. I'm now participating in the NYC 250 word macrofiction challenge. So we'll see how that goes. I just submitted the first round a couple weeks ago, and I should hear back about if I'm progressing in January, maybe February. I don't remember what the deadlines are. October is also when Eli and I celebrated our 4-year wedding anniversary. We got married on Halloween in 2019, and this year we were actually able to go out on Halloween and just sort of go out to dinner and spend the day together, which was nice. November is still sort of a blur. It just sort of happened. I don't really know what November was. Like, we ate food on Thanksgiving. I was still in classes. I was busy really through most of the month with classes. It was just sort of a whirlwind of homework and then homework and then homework. And then this month has just sort of been more of the same. I got through my classes, and it's strange to think that it has only been a week. Definitely part of me feels like it was so long ago, but part of me is also like still freaking out. Like, do I have to submit anything? Is there anything else for me to submit? And there's not, because all of the deadlines have passed. So if I miss something, too late now, the deadlines have passed. But we celebrated Christmas. Eli and I went to Eli's family yesterday, which is why I wasn't able to do anything with the video yesterday and why I'm recording the video today that's going to go up today. It's fine. But now we've reached the part of the video where we get to look into the future. And truly, I don't know what 2024 is going to bring. I'm still currently unemployed. I am no longer on unemployment because that has officially run out, which has me a little panicky, but it's fine. I'm frustrated with like the world as it is right now because I have been applying for jobs over the past 6 months and have had very few callbacks for interviews. Prior to this week, I've had a grand total of 2 companies interview me, and neither of them offered me a job. It's a little concerning. Otherwise, I still make some income from my side gig. It's not right now enough to pay for all of my bills, but it helps. Going into 2024, I am planning on starting a new video series. I've given myself the artificial deadline of January 5th to do sort of the introduction video, and then the videos would follow every Friday after the fact. And these videos are based on my side gig, which I'm sure you can probably guess because I have talked about this side gig before, but for the sake of letting the introduction video speak for itself, I'm not gonna talk too much about it other than to say expect a new video series every Friday, and if you aren't interested in this topic, don't watch the videos. It's as simple as that. I will be continuing to do the whatever Wednesdays, which are whatever I'm doing on Wednesdays. That Friday series shouldn't affect these videos. That said, I'm still one person trying to do a lot of things right now. Next semester should be a little bit easier for me, like course load wise. I'm taking a literature class and I'm taking another journalism class. And then that will pretty much conclude the course requirements of my degree, and then I'll be doing my summer residency come June, July, whenever that ends up landing. And then the last year of my degree will be entirely capstone. I won't have any other courses to take. So it's really just getting through the next 4 months, and then I am effectively free until my capstone starts, and then the capstone will be whatever it will be. I definitely want to work on getting a novel out. Maybe not necessarily published, but at least to a point where I am ready to query in 2024. I would love it if I could have it before my summer residency, because at the summer residency there will be like agents and publishers that I will be able to have conversations with, and I would love to be able to have something ready that I can shoot off in an email after that weekend. Ideally, I will have a couple finished because I am currently at varying degrees of progress in several novels. And at this point, it is really coming down to just sitting down and writing. Let me know if you would like some writing vlogs, because I need to kick myself in the butt and do more writing, honestly. I have a lot of ideas for things that I want to do on this channel, and it's definitely a struggle bus for me because I am not sure that I'm gonna have the time to do all of the things that I want to do. Like even now, basically this is my only commitment. There's a lot of things piling up on me. And I can only imagine it's going to get worse if I do get myself into a full-time job. This is the part of the video where I guilt you into sharing my video with your friends so that maybe someday I can make money doing this. I say that like your true passions are things that you'll do if no one is watching. And like writing and video making are two of those for me, I think. Considering I've been here for 10 years, this is the point in the video where I come back to what I usually say about the new year. And that is that you do not need to wait until the new year to affect change in your life. If you are unhappy with your situation, now is the best time to start changing it. If you want to lose weight, start doing what you need to do to lose weight. If that's going to the gym or starting a diet, whatever that is for you. If you want to reinvent yourself and create a new persona out of yourself, do that. If you want to start a new hobby, do that today. Don't wait until January 1st. The dates that we've established for the new year are completely arbitrary anyway. We could literally have started the new year in October. No, we decided it's going to be from December to January. I don't remember the quote exactly, but it's something to do with the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is now. If now happens to be New Year's, so be it. But also, if you happen across this video and it's like June, just do the thing. So yeah, that is my New Year's wrap-up thing. Stuff. Yes. If you enjoyed this video, first of all, I appreciate you for hanging out for this long. But if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below of what you would like to see more of in the new year. Would you like more videos of me just sort of talking at you? Would you like more projects? Would you like me to talk about writing more? Like what do you want to see? Because I am very open to like what you guys want to see. I have ideas. I definitely want to bring more sketches back to this channel because I feel like that's something that I loved doing before and just haven't made the time to do. While you're down there, also subscribe because I post new videos every Wednesday. What those videos are is whatever. It's whatever Wednesday. And I'll also be starting to post new videos on Friday beginning in the new year. So you have one more Wednesday video before the Friday videos kick in. Yeah, I think that covers everything. I don't remember what I say in my outros. I feel like I'm at the point where I need like my own like branded outro thing that I say every time. And I don't have one. Leave suggestions in the comments below. Hey, I will see you next time. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.